everyone. I am Matt Williamson at Williamson NFL. Give me a follow. Drop me a line whenever. This episode is presented by FanDuel. And something I'm going to try to make mention of, not a ton of time on it, is where the Steelers stand EPA-wise as well as their opponent versus the rest of the league. Maybe you guys don't like EPA. Maybe you don't understand EPA. But you're going to have to trust me. It's my show. I think it's the best barometer of judging a team or a side of the ball in this case. And I know it's only one game, but it's still noteworthy. So in terms of, and I'm also going to mention the opponent, Seattle here. And I guess I should mention the Jets as well while I'm at it. So in terms of offensive EPA after week one, and then by the way, we're going to talk about Jabrill Peppers. Don't sweat it. And I'm excited about that move. Very. The top two teams in offensive EPA, and if you watched Sunday Night Football, you probably have no doubt about this. The Buffalo Bills are 1 at 23.6, which is really, really high. And to give you some reference, the Bills are a distant second, or the Ravens are a distant second at 16.6. The team the Steelers just played, though, the Jets, are at 16.3, followed by the Colts and Chargers. Those are the best offenses after week one. Your Pittsburgh Steelers aren't far behind. 8.5. They're the 8th best offense in terms of EPA after week one. I think that's very deserved. You know, right behind Green Bay, right ahead of Dallas, ahead of Tampa, San Francisco, Kansas City. Good units. So I think that is 100% valid. Now, Seattle, who's coming to town, on the other hand, 26th in offensive EPA at minus 0.86. 8.6. Terrible. Like, to give you some reference, the worst one in the league by a distant margin is Tennessee, minus 25.4, which is double as bad as the 31st team. The Giants, Houston's at 30, Denver's at 29. So those are the worst. Steelers are near the top. How about defense? Denver was number 1 in defense, followed by Washington and the Rams. Tennessee comes in at 4. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm scrolling pretty bad. Minus 16.36. Only better than the Bills and Ravens. Now, the Bills and Ravens have good defenses, but they weren't good in week one. The Ravens are worst at minus 23.6. The Bills are 31st at minus 16.6. Your Steelers are at minus 16.3. 30th in the league. Yuck. Not so good. This shocks me that Seattle's as low as they are, because watching the game, I thought their defense was really, really good, but they were on the field a ton. They come in at 22nd at minus 6.7. Obviously, right at 0 is basically league average. Looking for the Jets here. The Jets came in at 25th after Pittsburgh did kind of a number on them. They're at minus 8.5. So we're just going to spend a couple minutes a week just touching in on that. And obviously week one's weird, where the Ravens play the Bills and both offenses dominated. So there's no other point of reference. There's not another team. So the defenses are terrible. The offenses are awesome. You know, that's an extreme example, but there you have it. Football season is finally here. Time to be checked out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are ahead of the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials, so you can join in on all the action.
Hey guys, if you're planning to see a Steelers game, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into your app alerts. The app is easy to use. No surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. If you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DK Steelers into your app profile to get $20 off your first purchase.
I am recording this dinner time Tuesday, and it has been reported that Jabrill Peppers is going to sign with the Steelers. I love it. What I don't know, so first off, when I saw this news this morning, I thought, oh no, that's bad news for Elliott. He's out for the year. Damn, he's going to go to IR. Peppers is going to, take that spot. Doesn't sound like that's the case. There's been a lot of reporting, and Mike Tomlin has press conference today. He ruled out Elliott, Harrison, Harmon for this upcoming game. Left the door open as questionable. We'll see on Porter and Herbig, who could return. Now, it's not great that they're all defensive players. Your defensive depth is getting hit pretty hard here. However, and what I don't know, that's why I told you why I'm recording this, is Peppers is going to join the roster. I don't know who's leaving. Does that mean Harrison's going to IR? Does that mean one of the extra defensive linemen, Adegbo? I know I kill his name. I sorry. I think he's probably the most likely candidate if no one goes to IR. My hunch is Elliott won't go to IR. It's just going to be week to week. So I would think either Harrison going to IR, or maybe you cut the extra defensive lineman, make spots for Peppers. Now, I wonder. No one has told me this. I don't know the answer. But I have raved about Omar's ability to really create great depth on the defensive side of the ball. And I absolutely think that is the case. I think he did a really, really good job of that. But leading into week one, the one spot on defense I thought was questionable depth-wise was safety. I was shocked that the Patriots cut Peppers. We'll get to why in a minute. But I wonder if Omar was standing here and I gave him truth serum, would he have already made this deal with Peppers? And this is why I'm saying it, because frankly, I think he's better than Chuck Clark. And that doesn't mean Chuck Clark's on the chopping block, especially while Elliott's down. But vested veterans, if you let the week one go by, you'll see a lot of guys signed this week, because that means you're not on the hook for a guaranteed contract for them for the year. So I wonder if they looked at their safety situation and said, we're a little thin. That's even with a healthy Elliott. Can't believe Peppers got cut. Would love to have him. Let's bring him in after week one. And then the Elliott injury happened. So maybe 5 teams were in touch with Elliott. I'm just throwing out scenarios. I just know how the league works. And I'm wondering if 5, 6, 7 teams even reached out to Peppers, because he's an NFL starter. I believe that. Certain type of safety. Well, we'll tell you. I'll tell you more about him. And maybe Peppers was like, oh, you guys had an injury. I can maybe walk right in and, be part of this team now and be part of the picture now, as opposed to other teams. Or maybe he preferred Pittsburgh from the start. I don't know. Maybe this reached out to him yesterday after the injury. I don't know. I guess none of that stuff matters. He's a Steeler. So what are they getting? Well, first off, why do you think the Patriots moved on from him? He is a big personality. And I think the Patriots are just in a different spot than the Steelers. And I think they're trying to get some of the Belichick guys out of there. And I think that they're trying to make it a Drake May-driven team. It's a lot different quarterback and leader than Cam and Rodgers. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Peppers is a bad guy. I don't think that at all, from what I understand. But I think he's a big personality on and off the field. But that's what the Steelers have been collecting. I mean, highly competitive, was a superstar at Michigan, was 4th, I think, in the Heisman vote that year. I mean, it's the year Lamar won the Heisman. So, I mean, this guy is a highly accomplished, came in the league as a big dog right away. Has really had a good career. But there's also a scheme fit issue with the Patriots, too. Like, I really think Peppers is an above average player basically in all facets. His versatility is without question one of his best assets, as is his playing temperament, which is part of the big attitude thing. But I don't think the Patriots, nor anyone, is going to be super thrilled with him as a predominantly third level player. So he's more like Clark than he is Thornhill. Closer to a strong than a free is probably the best way to put it. Yes, he can play too high. but I don't think you want him living in that world. And I think that's how the Patriots are playing their safeties, is a lot of too high. So schematically, he's not a great fit for New England. I don't think you want him as a single high guy. You definitely don't. But the Steelers, even though they're changing things up, presumably, are still going to be predominantly a single high safety, and he'll be the strong. Great. That's exactly what you're looking for out of this guy. Again, he is very versatile. He's played about, I would say, if you break the pie up into 5 pieces, one piece of the pie, 1/5, would be slot snaps. He's done a lot of that. 2/5 of the pie would be as a deep safety. Single high, 2 high, probably much more 2 high than single. And it's not his specialty, but he can do it, of course. And the other 2 pieces would be him in the box, whether aligned as a linebacker, more or less strong safety. And I think that's how the Steelers view him too. He can handle big slot stuff. He can handle near the line of scrimmage, some third level stuff, but all safeties are going to get in that situation some. He's fast. He's much faster than Chuck Clark. He's a much better athlete than Chuck Clark. I think he's a much better football player at this point. I'm not super down on Clark. He played fine, but he's a certain type of guy that I think teams will try to get moving his feet and will attack. Peppers is not a great change of direction athlete, like if and that gets exposed a little on the third level. If he has to deal with Tyreek Hill on a deep post or something like that, where he has to flip his hips and go and change direction with somebody like that, that's not ideal for any safety, but that's not his skill set. But he is a phenomenal tackler. Rarely misses tackles and arrives with authority and a nastiness. And when I say big personality, a lot of it is just highly competitive Jalen Ramsey stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he will thump you. He expects to win. He's had a lot of success in his career. And again, I've been mentioning this to you guys over and over. Tomlin's good at dealing with those guys. Everyone they bring in is an attitude dude. Slay, Metcalf, Rodgers, Ramsey. And we saw it. These guys aren't going to take any crap. And they are going to play with an edge and maybe even over the line. And I think that's exactly what the Steelers want. And I can't believe I'm shocked he was still available. He closes with authority. He comes downhill. He's better playing downhill and breaking on the ball. But again, he's highly versatile. I don't know how quick he can get on this moving train, but he's considered smart and has done a lot of different things in this league. I would imagine that he is active against Seattle. I'm hoping that before long, maybe not this week, he goes ahead of Chuck Clark on the depth chart, whether Elliott's ahead of both of them or sidelined. And I also think a little bit bigger picture. First off, he's not going to be just a rent him for 2 weeks until Elliott gets healthy situation. I don't think so at all. I think he's here for the year. And I think he could even be here for longer. I have not seen his contract situation, but I'm sure it's a 1 year, very low money, league minimum, maybe a little more, whatever. But Steelers had a lot of cap space. They could have given him a little more if they got in a bidding war, but not a ton. And I think there's a chance you could even consider bringing him back next year. I could see this being a successful situation. And something that we've kind of grown away from because I'm not in love with Clark or KZ as your third safety. But when and if everyone's healthy, I think big nickel with Thornhill, Elliott, and Peppers all out there could be another option for this team personnel-wise, this defense, which I love. So the fact that you got this guy for nothing, and I hesitate to even bring this name up, but I did on another airway. I don't think it's like a Joe Hayden gift that fell in your lap, but it could be the Michelob Ultra version of Joe Hayden that fell in your lap. He's a good player and fits a need, and the timing's wonderful considering the Elliott situation. So big thumbs up on this one. All right, everyone, take care. Soon we're going to start talking Seahawks. They're really, really good on defense. Their offense is kind of a mess. Over and out.